Hi there, welcome to Si Visitas, the channel that tells you important things about the places you visit. Because if you understand where you are, it is easier to admire the place where you are. In this video, I will mention some important details of the history of Mérida, Yucatán, and some points of interest near or in the city. Mérida is located northwest of the Yucatán Peninsula within the so-called Chicxulub crater formed by the impact of an asteroid 65 million years ago that would have caused the Cretaceous-Paleogene mass extinction and the disappearance of dinosaurs, among other species. The crater has a diameter of 180 kilometers and around it is what is known as the Ring of Cenotes. The historian Juan Francisco Molina Solís indicates that the settlement has been founded by the Chanes or Itzaes, who after living in Bacalar emigrated to the west, founding Chichen Itza, Izamal, Motul, and the city of the Ixcancihop, To, today Mérida around the year 550 DC. It belonged to the Mayan jurisdiction called Chacán, one of the 16 Cuchcabales of chiefdoms into which the Yucatán Peninsula was divided after the dissolution of the Mayapan League in the mid-15th century. Another historian, Alfredo Barrera Vázquez, indicates that Civichaltún, a city located further north, could have been To and not Mérida. He also says that Ixcancihó could have been the full name of To or Tijó, as we identified it today. In that case, the name used would really be a contraction in Maya from Five Hills. The Mayan city was abandoned when the Spanish arrived in the 16th century. The historian Juan Francisco Molina Solís indicates that when the Spanish soldiers entered To in 1541, there were barely 200 palm houses occupied by approximately 1,000 malnourished indigenous people, along with colossal ruins and the remains of surprising and beautiful buildings that they crowned rugged hills covered with old trees. The settlement as a city was founded on January 6, 1542 by Francisco de Montejo, El Mozo, and 100 Spanish families. It was baptized with the name of Mérida by Mérida of Extremadura, Spain, as it was the place of origin of some of the conquerors who arrived in the region because the constructions in the abandoned Mayan city reminded them of the Roman ruins of Emerita Augusta, close to the Spanish city. The conquerors built using the cut and carved stone of the ancient Mayan city. From this point, the Spanish managed to consolidate the conquest of the Yucatán Peninsula, which had been made difficult by the tenacity and bravery of the Mayan people. Mérida was the capital of the Capitancía General of Yucatán from 1565 to 1786 and of the Intendency of Yucatán from 1786 to 1821. In the colonial times, in order to protect the city from indigenous uprisings, a wall plan was proposed, of which only the wall surrounding the city with entrances of arches was carried out. Currently, only the Arch of the Barrio de San Juan and the Arches of Dragons and the bridge are preserved in the Mejorada neighborhood. During the independent era, the process of Frenchification of urban architecture that was reflected in the old houses built at the time of Paseo de Montejo, many of which still exist. The years are green gold, those of the Enequén boom at the end of the 19th century constituted a time of economic affluence for Mérida. The bonanza situation allowed the city to have electric public lighting and trams before many other cities in Mexico. The city is the main population center in the metropolitan area of Mérida, where it is closely related to Canacín, Humán, Concal, and Ucú. The closest archaeological sites to the capital city are Civichaltún, Soilá, Chenjó, Flor de Mayo, Scatzmil, Caucel, and Soclán, among others. Within the city limits, in various public parks and other sites, Mayan archaeological remains are displayed. Among the farms that have been restored and that today offer their services as hotels are Hacienda Temozón Sur, Hacienda San José Cholul, Hacienda Santa Rosa de Lima, and Hacienda Scanatún. There are others enabled as meeting centers and restaurants, Tzotzil and San Antonio Cucul in the north of the city, Chencú and Mulsay in the west, Misné, Tellá, and San Pedro Nofat in the Sores and Chichi Suárez, Petcanché in the northwest and southwest, the Tabí farm and the Extepen farm. Its current rich cultural heritage is a product of the mixture of the Mayan, Spanish, and African cultures during the colonial era, later influenced by the French and Lebanese cultures, with some contribution from the Dutch, Korean, and Italian. If you like the video, give it like and subscribe.